Welcome to my pattern weight sew along. This is part of my new scrapbuster series and it's super beginner friendly. First you want your box of fabric scraps. You'll need some rice or some lentils or anything for the weights and some clips. Now you need fabric scraps that are at least 8 inches by 4 inches in size. Cut one piece 8 inches by 4 inches and another 3 inches by 1 inch. Take the smaller piece to your iron, and what we want to do is iron it in half first, then open it up and then fold the outer edges into that centre line. Do that on both sides, give it a good press and then fold it in half, and we're going to take it to the sewing machine and we're going to sew down both sides, and that's going to create the handle for the pattern weight. So starting with the open edge first, you're simply going to top stitch. So I line up the edge of my strip with the side of my presser foot and top stitch all the way along. When you get to the end, just pivot, go across, and then come back down the other side. And it should look something like this. Set that to one side and pick up your larger piece, and you want to just fold it in half and finger press down that side crease. Take the little tab that you've just created, fold it in half, and you want to put the open end, the raw end, against the top of that centre crease that you've just created, and just tuck it inside and clip it or pin it in place. Then you want to clip along the top of that edge and down the right hand side. So you're leaving the bottom open. And then we're going to take it to the machine and sew those two edges. So you'll end up with the left hand side is the crease, the top and the right is sewn, and you'll have an open bottom, which you now want to open up and then put it against the edge of the other side. So you can see what I'm doing here, and just open out that seam so it's sitting nice and flat and clip it in place. And what we're going to do is we're going to sew along this edge, and we're just going to leave a hole on one side of it, which is where we're going to put our funnel in to put the rice in. So sew along and just leave a hole, and you'll see it'll look like this. You've literally just got a little gap in that edge. Now you just want to clip all the corners. They sit nice and sharp when you turn the whole thing inside out, which is what you're going to do now. Pop your hand into that hole, and then it's easier if you can get hold of the tag and then just pull it through gently and turn the whole thing inside out. And then you want to take your knitting needle, or I use this Hera marker, and just poke out all of those corners so they're nice and sharp. Don't poke too hard so you don't go through the fabric. Then you want to get your funnel. This is probably a bit big, but it's the only one I had. So if you've got one that's slightly smaller but that the rice or lentils, whatever it is, fits in, then that will make your life a little bit easier, and just pop that through the hole. Take care when you're jiggling it about, because you will have said accident, but keep going till it's as full as it can be, but so there's a slight gap so that you're going to be able to then actually sew that hole closed at your sewing machine. You could sew it by hand, but I'm only using these around the house, so I don't mind doing it at the machine. I do put it on a stitch length of 1, just so it's nice and neat, and you basically just want to back tack at the beginning, at the end, and then just stitch along and make sure that that hole is nicely closed up. And it will look like this. All set for putting on your patterns for when you're cutting out with your rotary cutter so that the pieces of paper don't move. I hope you enjoyed my sew along. You can make them for yourself or for friends who are into sewing. If you like this, do follow for more, because I'm going to be posting them regularly. And if you also like it, feel free to buy me a coffee. The link's in my bio. Thanks!